Welcome back to the Secret Code Podcast. Well, it's a crazy, crazy time in the markets right now. It's honestly never been better for Secret Network. Price may be down, but honestly, the amount of stuff being built is way up. Tons of new applications, tons of new cool contracts, and today we get joined by Tom Clark, the social media manager of the Secret Foundation. So we're going to hear a lot about the marketing side, especially how to market during this bear market, learn more about Tom, and we'll also be giving away some of the awesome merch that we found and came home with in Austin. So thank you, Jay, from the foundation, for letting us have some merch, and let's get swagged up.
Ideas expressed in this podcast are not to be considered representative of any other parties affiliated with the Secret Network. We are not qualified to give financial advice, but if we were, we'd say market by Secret aggressively.
For the community, by the community. Tom, thank you so much for joining the podcast. It was an honor getting to meet you in Austin. Had a blast working the booth and stuff together. But welcome to the show. Tell everybody about you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I'm envious of the intro. I love the graphics. Everything's awesome. Hi, what's up, kids? My name is Tom, and I am a podcast host as well as Sir Eric here. I've run a couple of different pods, one since 2014, which is a pro wrestling show. If you're so inclined, Tom Clark's Main Event, and also Tom Clark's 6M podcast. That's movies, music, Marvel, magazines, miniseries, and more. Only took me a month to get that where I could rattle it off, but it's fun, man. I love the podcasting game. As I told you in Austin, not only envious of your graphics, but of your voice, dude. You have the perfect voice for this. I continue to, in the middle of a show, like a 1 hour show, whatever that looks like, I start cracking pretty heavy, and I've got to have water nearby. But you've got the golden pipes, my friend.
Thanks. I've got the voice and face for radio. No, that's awesome. So you may not know I'm sure you don't actually. My last name used to be Clark.
And, well, there you go. Well, it used to be. What happened?
My maiden name.
There you
go. Divorces, it's different stuff. So my ex-stepdad's last name is Clark. Wonderful guy. Tim Clark, not Tom Clark. But
there you go. I know.
Both my dads were Tim.
That's interesting. I know quite a few Tim Clarks. So.
But yeah, we're both Clarks, both podcasters, and I'm also a huge fan of wrestling. Me and my old college roommate used to watch tons of wrestling and play the little video games and stuff. So great times. But thank you so much for joining. And yeah, rich background in podcasting and media. How did you get involved in crypto and Secret Network?
Honestly, I have a very good friend of mine to thank for a lot of it. He's big into crypto. He's in the field also. And, I was ready for a career change. What I was doing wasn't cutting it for me anymore. And I had done social media before, but unfortunately for me, never as a full-time gig that I could really dive into. I had plenty of experience at it, but I wanted to be able to grab a hold of something that was what I consider to be new, sort of in its infancy, but heading in the right direction. And one thing led to another, and it led to me going to AngelList and looking up careers and jobs, and I found Secret Foundation social media manager. And I told a friend of mine, I said, I don't think I'm going to get this job. And he's like, well, why would you say that? And I was like, well, I don't know if I'm exactly what they're looking for, because I don't have an abundance of years experience in crypto. And you and I kind of spoke off mic a little bit about that earlier, but some people have varying opinions on it, and I totally respect that. But for me, I think, and I can't speak for the great people I work with now, but I feel like I bring a new set of eyes to this where maybe they're not there right now. And I sort of bring a different perspective on how to do things and how to market anyway. But I'll be honest with you, as we kick things off, I love what I do. It's the best career decision I've ever made. I love being in this space. And I'll throw it back to you and tell you that when I interviewed you in Austin, your enthusiasm paired with that of everyone I talked to in Texas about this, dude, your enthusiasm for me pumped me up to no limit. So I appreciated what you bring to the table also, just to be honest.
Thank you, man. Yeah, we've got more than just dollar signs in our eyes. We've got an ethos, and we've got the ability and the time to build this out. So it's going to be wonderful. Yeah, what Tom's alluding to is he did some recording of kind of small interviews of the people that were there in Austin. And so I can't wait to see that compiled and get to show all the faces of the people representing over 50 people representing Secret Network there in Austin in person. So wonderful, wonderful time. And yeah, more to what you're speaking about, you may not have the crypto background, and that's not really necessary. And I wish I understood that earlier, because thought about going into computer science, but I never learned to develop. And so people think of Eric, the guy behind Hydro. Like, I'm not the guy with the hands the keyboard. I'm the guy going around and talking to people and coming up with economic designs and whatnot. And back in 2017, when I got involved as an Enigma ambassador with Tor and Brendan, they were like, well, how can you help? What are the different ways? And I'm like, I don't know how useful I'll be. I can write, I can talk, but I don't know how to develop, and I know that's what you need. They're like, no, we need so much more than that. And I didn't really believe them. I didn't really understand. And so if you guys are listening and you're like, man, I'm passionate, I've got a lot to offer, but I'm not a developer, there's so much more that we need in our ecosystem than just development. And one of the top things we need is marketing. We've seen so much kind of the mindset in our small little ecosystem of, oh, if we build it, they'll come. And now we see big names on Twitter talking about like, oh, if only we had privacy solutions, or this is what we're doing to try to do it. And in a couple of years, we might have something 1/10 of what Secret Network offers. And it's like, we're already here. We already built it, but the people don't know. And that's where we need the marketing. And marketing doesn't require crypto experience. It requires marketing experience. And so I'm excited to talk to you about that, because a lot of people assume that since I can talk, since I can come on camera, that I'm a marketer, and I know jack diddly about it. I've recently been talking to people like Shahar or Arya who have backgrounds in marketing about like, oh, well, you need to do these different sequences and whatnot. I'm like, okay, yeah, like Calculus 3, I'm ready. I don't know anything about marketing. So walk me through what a day is like in the job of a social media marketer. How do you gauge success? What are your aims?
Well, I mean, honestly, you want to put the product, and in this product, it's in this case, the Secret Network, in front of as many eyes as possible. And you want as much positive sentiment as you can get. There's different ways to gauge that. There's different apps you can use. We're currently working with the TIE. As anyone in this space knows, they're a fantastic team. They give us great weekly report on how we're doing, Twitter engagement and whatnot. Just had a meeting with them today. Sentiment on Secret Token is high. I always come away with that with good vibes. It's a pleasure meeting with those guys. I don't want to say dread, but I kind of am not looking forward to the day when I get sort of a report that says, hey, we sort of dipped this week. I definitely don't want to hear that. But as you said at the intro of this thing, man, while we are definitely in a bear market, we're trending up with Secret. But yeah, for me, it's like you said, not having a huge background in crypto. At the end of the day, you want to put this in front of as many people as possible and have a positive reaction. And to your point, do we need marketing? How many times a day in a given day do you see a tweet or see a comment about, oh, I wish we had privacy? And I'm sitting here like, we're right here. Like, look. So it's a matter of us, not just myself, but the great guys I work with, help us getting the word out. Word of mouth is a lot of this stuff. Letting people know that we're here. As you know, in Austin, I'm sure we had, with the same number of people that came up and said, I love you guys, we probably had this like equal amount saying, I don't know what you guys do, or I've never heard of you. And that, while that's staggering, it's also a great opportunity for us to sort of educate. I sort of look at my job as being, I'm going to educate and inform and entertain. That, to me, that's my three goals here. I mean, yes, engagement is massive. We definitely want to grow the network. That's the thrust of everything we do. But if it's a straightforward black and white mechanical post, repetitive over and over, I mean, who cares about that? But if you can make it a little bright and shiny, if you can get some engagement there, if you can put something small as emojis or a couple of exclamation marks, get people excited, because I'm excited about what I do, and I want the audience to be excited also.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, you guys have been doing a great job since you did come on board with the foundation. We've seen a notable uptick in that, and I'm a huge fan of the foundation. Tor is wonderful. All the people he hires is wonderful. Patrick, you, Jay, Jordan, it's been an absolute blast hanging out with any and all of you. So I'm kind of envious of working with your team, though. My team is very, very fun. But you talk about getting it in front of people's eyes and then having a positive impact. But how do you have, what do call to actions look like? I'm familiar with the idea of marketing. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but through regular products where you okay, you want to get people here, you want to get them to buy this. And now when I go to friends and family, or I set up little presentations for people who are trying to understand crypto, they're always like, yeah, sorry, this isn't really a great time to buy. Maybe I'll try later for you. I know you get commission. I don't get commission. Right. It's not oh, we're willing to come see you. I don't really want to take time out of my day to go market this to you. I'm only doing this because I believe in an ethos, but people don't really trust or believe that. How do you communicate our message compared to everything else everyone does?
We lead with privacy every time. It's important that we lead with privacy. And as I said earlier, I feel like I kind of bring a different set of eyes to this. I always feel like I kind of bring the everyman approach to this. If I were outside of all of this, outside of this world, my first question would be, if I raise my hand, is, what's this got to, why should I care about this? Make me care about this. The word crypto can be, daunting. It can be intimidating for someone that doesn't know anything about it. So if you raise your hand and say, what does this mean? The first thing out of the gate we can lead with is, how much do you value your private information? Would it be okay with you if someone looked over your note as you balance your checkbook? Is it okay if someone looked over your shoulder as you made a deposit, handed to the teller at the bank or through the ATM, whatever that looks like? Is it okay if they see your PIN? Is that all right with you? Well, the answer is obviously going to be no. So that's where we come in the world of crypto. We make sure that your information is safeguarded. And we give you the option, if you want to share certain things, you can. But if you'd rather not, we think you shouldn't have to in the first place. We value our privacy. We value yours. So for me, that's what we lead with. That's our hook. As you said, we don't necessarily have a product. Like, hey, here's the coolest shirt. By the way, we do have cool shirts, kids. I'm just saying. But we're not really hawking those. You know what I mean? But like, I see, there you go. This man's got to show it off.
We'll be giving some away, so hop in the comments.
See,
you ready for your viewing key question?
You got to make it happen, folks. But yeah, we don't really do that, like sell this, buy this or whatever. But what we do have is, it's sort of an intangible, is privacy. If you are looking to get into this space and you don't know how to do it, to me, that is how you get your foot in the door. And it's my first conversation out of the gate as I'm learning where I'm at and learning how the verbiage works. And to be honest, to get everything, my ducks in a row, as they say, to be able to have engaging conversation with people in real life, face to face, I'm always going to lead with privacy, because it's something we can all very much relate to. It's daunting. It is, it's very different than anything I've done before, because I've done live events or sold a product or sold a service, and that's fine. But like, this to me is sort of an intangible. But if you can make the intangible concrete, if you can add some weight to it, I think that you give people a reason to walk through the door if you open it. And it's not about, when you get them in there, you're shilling or you're throwing a bunch of stuff at them. No, you're just coming and say, why? And you look at our socials, you look at our website, SCRT.network, by the way, folks. Why Secret Network? Who are we? What is Secret? And I love that we lead with questions, because people have questions. So if we lead with those things, then we're already answering it before they even start asking.
Yeah, absolutely. So talking about privacy and why it's important to them is a great way to grab attention and to kind of steer the narrative towards, like, this is a paradigm shift rather than we're selling you something. But after changing their mind about something, how do you bring about user retention? And what are the goals in that? Is the goal to get them like, hey, like, go market by Secret now, it's important to you? Is it like, hey, come get involved and help out?
The Secret Agent program is something that it's by far the easiest way to get into the ecosystem. You don't need a massive education in crypto, as you know. It's as easy as put in your email and follow some steps, watch some videos, be a part of some Secret Agent missions. It's something that I'm trying to build out on YouTube. That we are trying to build on YouTube, not just YouTube, but Instagram, and obviously Twitter and LinkedIn. But yeah, just getting the message out there of, hey, if you want in, if this is your easiest way in, there's always going to be room for people who want to come in and buy Secret. Obviously, there's, maybe they don't want to invest a lot of time. They're just looking to expand their portfolio, perhaps, or diversify, whatever that looks like. And that's obviously, we're perfectly open to that. Who wouldn't be? But at the same time, we want to get people involved. It's as you know, Eric, from being boots on the ground in Austin, it's so much more fun and exciting to put faces to names and to feel the energy in the room. And I can't imagine if there had been 10 of us and just casual guys who had done business in the past and then went on with their briefcase, whatever that looked like. We had people from all walks of life, from all over the country, from China, from Honduras, from Portugal, from Mexico, from Spain, Australia, for God's sake, from all around the globe, who were passionate about this. But for me, we lead with privacy. If that's my hook, the way that the next step of that conversation is the Secret Agent program. There's stuff that we give away. There's swag. There's access. There's great things that people can do to get involved right now today in Secret Network. And they don't have to have 6 years worth or 5 years worth or even 5 months worth. All they need is curiosity and a little bit of attention they can give us and a little bit of their time, and we will educate them as we go.
Absolutely. So how much of your focus as a social media manager is on growth and how much is on efficiency? Are those different?
That's a great question. I mean, I say we a lot because I believe it's a team effort. I believe we sink or swim together. I think if, and I said this during my job interview, and Jake can vouch for this. I believe we sink or swim as a team. If one of us fails, we all fail, and we could throw stones and point at people, but what does that get us? Lift each other up is rising tide and all that, right? I want to be good at my job. Obviously, I want the metrics to reflect that. And so far, knock on wood, somewhere, as my mom would say, so far we reflect pretty well and pretty and positive growth moving forward, and it's awesome. But for me, it's about growing the network, and I know Tor's answer would be 100% the same way. It's about growing the network. We want more people in the ecosystem. We want more people involved, and if we get, whether that it's next week, next month, next year, if someone comes back to us and says, "Hey, I found you guys through YouTube," or "Hey, I found you through Instagram, and that's why I'm here, and I've been here for 6 months, and I've told 12 friends, and now they're here," that to me is a ringing endorsement, man. I took an Uber, and by the way, kids, in case you don't know, I'm sure we all, talked about our jobs in Ubers in Texas. I know I did, but I had someone scan a QR code. It was an Uber driver. I sat in the front seat with a guy, and I said, "We're on Twitter." He goes, "I don't do Twitter. Are you on Instagram?" And I said, I got you, right? I took my phone. He followed us on the spot. That's one guy, and you're
Good
like,
job.
"Oh, it's one guy." Dude, it's one guy that wasn't there 24 hours before.
Yep.
So if we can keep building that, it's organic, right, Eric?
Yep.
Organic growth takes time. You got kids, you watch your kids grow up, and now you're like, "Oh my God, what happened?" I'm the same way. But in the process of the years, you don't really think about it till one day you look and they're big. That's kind of what I look at here. Organic growth takes a lot of time, a lot of effort on our part, but we're going to reap the rewards of it. I firmly believe that we're laying the groundwork for something that's already great, and we're going to be that much substantially better in the future.
Yeah, and organic growth lasts. Like I've got friends. I used to be pretty big into working out, and I got some friends that like went on steroids, and then like when they got off, they just lost it all super fast. But if you build
Wow.
slowly with proper protein and supplements or whatnot, like then you'll be able to keep it. And if you stop working out, like you're still decently big. So organic growth takes more time, but it has more long-term rewards. And I do like that we are still long-term focused.
Mm.
A conversation or several conversations I had with Crypto Chem. If you guys follow Crypto Chem on Twitter, he's everywhere. Absolutely fantastic person. But we've been talking because he likes the podcast and he's working on House of Shade, which is a wonderful podcast. Check them out, and we had a great time with their team. But he had this talk about like how much to focus on growth, how much to focus on like just kind of authenticity or whatnot. And it's like, I really struggle with this. I made this podcast because I wanted to hear it. Period. I missed Tor's podcast. He used to drive all the time. I wanted content for Secret Network, and I'm really good at making content that I like, but I don't know how to like do sequences. Like I don't even want to grow as a content creator. I like making something niche that is specifically filling what I need. But in order for Secret Network to grow, obviously Tor's got this background with head of growth with Enigma, working on growth with Snapchat. Like there are people in this network that are focused on growth. I'm not one of them. But we do need these people that are going to work up and build up their kind of social credentials in order to reach larger audiences. We as a network have a great job, in my experience, with user retention, or at least ethos retention, where once we get the idea in front of people, once they understand it, they stick around. But we do such a terrible job of getting that ethos across, getting the understanding across. Just today in the Twitter spaces with Secret Labs, we have people hopping on like, "Yeah, I've heard about Secret Network for forever." Like, what is it, like a Monero? Like, what, do I use this to launder money? It's like there's so much more, and people just don't know it yet. So how do we go about this growth? And what kind of balance do we need between authenticity and like specific like growth approaches? And what is a growth approach? I don't know anything about it, man.
Well, come see the elephants today. It's nothing like that. It's just a matter of, again, getting in front of the right people. And man, organic, it's, as you said, it's a big word, man. It takes a lot of time. I would think getting the right information out there, educating people from the ground up. And if you had, let's say, 10 people in that space today who came away with it with a better understanding of Secret Network, that's 10 more people who may dive further now. And next week on Tuesday, on a regular time on Secret Spaces, kids, we may have 10 more people who show up. And again, these things take time, but growth is important, Eric, as you know. You're excited to be here. I'm excited to be here. And I'm a lot like you. I created both of my podcasts, the second one in particular, because I don't want to say hear myself talk, because that's not true. It's not vain, right? But, I listen to my shows because I want to do things that if they would entertain me or inform me or educate me, I want to listen to them. I'm going to listen to my own content. I don't really care how that sounds, to be honest with you, but that's just how I roll. But I'm of the same vein as you are, is that, I'm excited to be here. And yes, it's awesome to be here and everything, but if it remains 50 of us or 100 of us or whatever the number may be, that's awesome. But eventually we've got to get bigger. I mean, you're either going to evolve or die, right? And, the good news for everybody listening or watching now or after the fact is that if you're a part of Secret Network, we're moving in the right direction. And if you want to join Secret Network, we're moving in the right direction. You're going to be jumping on board a train that we may not be going 1,000 miles an hour, but we're gaining momentum every day. So I'd love to give you a very detailed answer on here's some pie charts and here's some stats. I just think we just go one building block at a time, and we fight fires. Sometimes it's what we do. We missed this here. We may have let this out. We'll fix it. We'll go back. We'll cover this. If there's a question, someone raised their hand on Instagram or Twitter and we didn't get to it, we'll get to it as soon as we can. There's always going to be little opportunities here and there, but I think the more positive growth that we have, obviously, it's going to be better for the ecosystem, for all of us, for you, for myself, for everybody involved. But you're right. We have to grow. And I feel like.
Sorry, I think you just cut out a little bit for a second.
Oh, am I still here?
Yeah, I hear you again. Sorry.
I sometimes have signal issues. What I said was very profound. You all.
I 100% believe you, brother. But yeah, in order for us to branch out into this tree, we have to start by growing this stump. And speaking of stump, I am fully prepared to stump you on today's viewing key question.
I don't know if I'm ready for this. Let me take a drink and then we'll hit it. It's just water. It's just water.
So bringing back the viewing key, guys, we're going to come back with more episodes. I know we've been slacking a little bit the last couple months. We've been obviously building out Hydro a lot, but we are committed to making our niche content for Secret Network users and people who are interested and affiliated, bringing everyone's stories to you guys. And we're bringing back the viewing key segment because while they tried to get rid of viewing keys with the permits, we have magnificently restored viewing keys with the Duro key just so we could keep this segment. And your question, Tom, is how many booths were representing Secret Network at Decentralcon in Austin? 1, 3, 4, or 5?
Man, if I get this wrong, is Jay still here? My God. Jay better be gone. Don't tell him if I miss this.
No cheating in the chats.
Show me the numbers again. That'll buy me some time. I mean, that'll allow me to look, is what I meant to.
1, 3, 4, or 5 booths representing Secret Network and their affiliated applications.
I'm going to say 5.
Gonna say 5 booths. Any guess at who those are?
Are you counting us?
I am counting Secret Network booth, yes.
There's us, there's Alter, there's Shade, there's Jackal, and there's I can't remember the 5th. If there's a 5th, I can't remember it.
I guess that the answer is just 4 then.
Oh, I should have just counted, but I was trying.
I wish Hydro had a booth. We didn't secure the the funding for it in time, but we were there helping out. The Hydro team was behind the Secret Network booth helping out, and we went around to Alter and Jackal. But oh my goodness, it was such a wonderful representation. Shade had like 20 people there. Jackal had the best presentation ever with Patrick going up and like hacking and doxing the police chief like there on stage live, just like showing like the need for private data storage.
I missed all of that.
Oh man, yeah, somebody had to hold down the fort.
Yeah, you're right.
You and Jay did an absolute wonderful job. Lumi from Trivium did a wonderful job, even though we only had 4 booths and 50-60 people there. There were 9-10 different teams represented, tons of countries like you mentioned. It was an absolutely spectacular showing. Really showcased the strength of the Secret Network community. We all came back away from that refurbished and enthusiastic.
We got to give a massive shout out to Jay, man. He will defer to the team, but we need to defer to him because he he made it happen. He was the guy that put the elbow grease into it, and then the planning ahead of time. He killed it. So.
And in the chats, Jay, Leanson, and Nell, please DM us on Twitter or whatnot. We will gladly send you guys some merch. Thank you for being active here and supporting the live show. We've got secret shirts. We've got these awesome secret shot socks if my green screen doesn't cut them off. We've got a couple of Hydro merch bags. I can see what I could still give out. We've got our Hydro frisbees and koozies and sunglasses and stuff. It's pretty fun. Darn you, green screen. So yeah, DM us and we will happily send out some merch. But Tom, thank you so much for honoring our many fallen heroes such as Asaf, who famously fail on doing key questions.
Well, if it's about failing, I know a little something about that. So you know what? I'm among a good crowd. So there you go.
Hey, fail upwards. No.
Yes.
Wonderful. You even had the teams on point. So
absolutely.
Happy to bring awareness. So going back to marketing and social media management, we always talk about kind of a balance between awareness and education. And we've historically had separation between the committees, but obviously the secret agents want to do both. The podcast, we want to do both, education through awareness. What do you focus on between the two, or should they even be separated? Like what does awareness without education look like? And is it useful?
I don't think it is. I think you have to have both. And I think folks on either side of that coin have, I don't want to say agenda, that sounds suspect. They have their own plans and their own thoughts and opinions, and that's fine. But I think on our end, we are the front-facing mechanism of the network, in my opinion. We're the ones out front that everything that goes on behind the scenes, if we don't represent it properly on our end. And you said, what's a working day look like? I never answered you, by the way. I have 3 screens in front of me. And my podcast rig is here because I got to have it. But this big table, and basically I'm looking at all 3 screens, and I build my content calendar, my scheduler, and I post and lean on the guys for copy and graphics. But, if we don't do our job, and I look at it as a team, I do. If we don't do our job of communicating the right messages, if all we did, and there's guys out there with Twitter accounts that sit there and do nothing. And I'm not going to call anybody out, but they've got a lot of followers, and there's no Twitter activity. I'm like, are you set? Are you good? Are you all done? Cool. Why are you still even have your account? Like, engagement, talk to people, get them educated, inform them, let them know you're here and what you're doing. To me, that's important, man. So if we drop the ball on our end and we're the ones that are directly facing the world, then it's on us. It's our fault. The network could be at an all-time high and everyone's building and creating and doing amazing things behind us. But if we don't tell you about it, we're not doing our part. So it's pressure, but it's the right kind of pressure, because I love a little bit of pressure. I'm not going to lie to you, because it makes, I feel like I perform a little bit better. Do you know what I mean? So it's, it can be a little intimidating sometimes, man. But for me, at the end of the day, it's all worth it. When we had the top tier guys talking about, Tor and Guy, and these guys were shaking our hands in Austin saying everything's great, we appreciate it. That to me means everything. You know what I mean? And then on down to the folks who just got there and again had never heard of us, but shook hands and said, thank you for the information. What's that email again? Dude, that's awesome. So I'm all for that, man. And again, I think if we drop the ball, and Eric, honestly, on you too, you're also outward facing the organization here, honestly, in the network. I mean, if you don't have a good presence on your pod, if it's not clicking and people are, who's this clown? Click, and they, then you've lost someone. If you lost one person, that's one person that might would have told 5 people about us, and now there's missed opportunity. So I think it's all on our shoulders to grow the network, and we're growing it for the best possible reasons, not to line our pockets, nothing like that. It's to grow it because, as you said in Austin, this is not just the future. This is now. It's not just the future. And being a part of this, something you could tell your kids about down the road, sign me up.
Yeah, you're spot on, and I know it, and I hate it because I don't enjoy rhetoric and kind of like focusing like on a messaging for a purpose, even though it's necessary. But I'll see if I can come up with some cool Twitter threads of some of my thoughts. I really just use the platform to just kind of speak my mind and talk my crap. But I do recognize that for the benefit of the growth of the network, I should do more. Ethan and people are talking to me like, oh, you got to set in the LinkedIn. I'm like, I'm not gonna use that, but yeah, I do need to take part in growth, even if it's not fun. So yeah, I'll try to be a better face.
In the little bit of time that I've known you, you're a smart guy. You know what you're doing. You know how this works, and you know how important it is to grow this thing. Dude, honestly, a paragraph from you or or a word of encouragement. Honestly, I don't think you need to sit down and write a book about this stuff. You could if you want to, I'm sure, but it's just a matter of you give a kind word to people, and you were educating plenty of people at the booth in Austin. I got it on video and in pics, so I know. And I may have handed people off to you at some point because I would get hit with something very technical. I'm not gonna lie, kids, I'm not there yet, right? So I would just tell, hey, could you come here and talk to this nice man because I don't want to mess this up. So yeah,
Man, in Austin, it was like me, Jay, Jordan, and Patrick holding down or not in Austin, in Miami last December. It was me, Jordan, Jay, and Patrick really holding down the booth. But we actually had a lot more help this time, and so I was just passing people off to Lumi, and sometimes like I don't even have anybody else. I'm just passing it off to him and just watching. Just the light in his eyes as he's like going to town. He was absolutely in his element. So it was a very fun time. But yeah, I'm
gonna call him kid because he's a kid to me. That kid was great. No disrespect to him at all.
100%. But yeah, thank you. I can't wait to see that on video. But I can always talk. I'm passionate about Secret Network, so I started the podcast.
There you go.
So, what was it like transitioning to a job within crypto?
Again, very different. Social media part of it I've done, but something like this, again, it's the intangible. Getting myself prepared, took some Coursera here and there and read up and talked to people and watched a lot of videos, read a lot of content, trying to get myself prepared for this. And it's more or less one of those things where like, I didn't really come into it looking for a job. And I'm not going to speak for anybody watching. If you want a job in this, by all means, go with God, my friend. Do what you want to do, and best of luck to you. But I didn't come to this looking for a job. I came to this because I was very interested, and I got kind of frustrated the fact that I kept hearing the words crypto and Bitcoin and didn't really understand what was going on. I'm like, you know what? I'm a grown man. Why do I not know what this is yet? So it's a matter of I want to educate myself. I want to know what this is. So the more I learned about it, the more interested I got. And we've all had weird things happen with the bank. I know I have. Suddenly your number's stolen and you're told by the bank, I got a call one night at like 11 o'clock from the bank at 11 o'clock. Who calls from the bank at 11 o'clock? But hey, are you in Mexico by any chance making a lot of charges at a hotel? And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, we're going to put the money back. No worries. We just want to verify it's you. We stopped it at the third transaction. And I'm like, okay, now I'm glad we got the money back. And this is a crazy scenario, kids, but stay with me. Let's say on the third transaction, that dude got enough money to buy a gun. You can connect the dots, not to get all morbid on you, but my money did that. I mean, it's weird and it feels odd. And again, your information just got tapped by something like that. And I was told, oh yeah, people can set up a duplicate card reader in a restaurant, wherever that looks like. I'm like, what? Like I kind of knew, but I didn't know how intense it was. So you take that X number of times over years, or you hear conversations, and then eventually you start looking around and going, well, is this all we have? Is this it? Savings account are drawing 0.01% interest. If you get that much, good luck. Like, what are we doing here? And not to bag on the banking industry. I got money in the bank. I'm just saying. But like, I don't know, man. For me, I think it was more or less like, I want to look around and see, is there anything better? The idea of the metaverse is very intriguing to me, especially now since Kevin Smith has been here for us and is coming back. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. But it's exciting, man. I love this stuff. And the more I get into it, the more intrigued I am. So to answer your question, it was a little intimidating, but I don't like to shy away from a challenge, man. I told Jay that right out the gate. I like a challenge. And he's like, be careful what you wish for. It's all good. I hope that I've risen to it. And I feel like we all have as a team for sure, especially in Austin. I don't think there were any balls dropped in Austin that I saw. No doubt.
Good. Sweet. Love it. Man, so what else do we need to do to grow Secret Network? Are we on the right track? How can we step it up? What should our call to action and focus be as a community?
Learn as much as you can. We've got a lot of material out there. We're producing more on a weekly basis. SCRT.network. We've got our Twitter, of course, was our primary platform. We've got YouTube. We've got videos that are living there that we're taking clips from. We've got your podcast. We've got great bits of information out there. Instagram, which is not something that's used a whole lot in the crypto world. I'm plugging it, man, because if we have a set of people watching, I'm going to take it away from them. No, I'm going to put it back in front of them and try to grow that audience. And if we get it up to X number, cool, let's go higher. Because again, that's more people that weren't at the table before. So if you want to get involved, I would say educate yourself as much as possible and give us feedback. If you reach out during the secret spaces and someone didn't answer you, or you raised your hand, we missed you, you can message us on every platform we have. You can message us here after the fact, whatever that looks like. You can message me directly. I don't care. Tell me what you got. And rest assured, if I can't answer your question, I'll direct you to somebody that will 100%. But like you said, I mean, we want as many people involved as we can to grow this thing, man. You know that growth is important. And I guess I would say the easiest way to grow this thing is to get people asking questions, get them involved. Is there something you don't know about? Is there something that you're confused on? I'll guarantee you we'll find somebody that can answer the question for you. It's not a problem. Just let us know. I mean, to me, that would be the easiest answer I can give is, if you want information, we've got it to give you. There's no lack of information on our part. And I know because I'm pushing that information to the forefront as much as I possibly can. And I push it so much, I'm always looking and digging around like, what else can I push today? What can I push next week? Right. Because it's okay to push the same blog post a couple, 2-3 weeks in a row. Who cares? You might have a different set of eyes this week, but we consistently have more content being produced, more user tutorials, and you know what that's about. But yeah, it's important to get the content out there. And, when I first came to this role, and I was the first person to have this role in this job, at the foundation, Eric, no pressure, right? But it's all good, man. I take that on the chin and say, I'm going to try to rise to the challenge here. But one of the things I noticed very early on was our amount of content was not where I would personally like it to be. We're getting there. It's taking a lot of time and a lot of effort, but we're getting there. And again, organic is much different than we paid this guy X number of dollars to go talk about us for 12 straight weeks. That's awesome. But at the same time, who did he reach? Did he reach someone that's going to stick around for an hour? Or did he reach someone that's going to stick around for a year? And Daniel, I don't know who you are, but you're awesome. Thank you for that.
No, dude, 100%. Absolutely. And more to that. First off, people don't recognize how important surveys and feedback is. It's huge. You talk about being the everyman and bringing the everyman opinion to crypto. Like, that is huge. The Shade team talked on my podcast brilliantly about how they have like non-crypto native friends and like groups of people to come beta test their products to see how instinctual it actually is. It's one thing to build an AMM for people who have used AMMs before, but we want to bring crypto to more than just the degens who have been using wallets since 2012. So that's huge and imperative. So the least thing you guys as a community can do is give people feedback on the products. We can try to make it easier by setting up surveys and polls and whatnot, but that would be very helpful. And then secondly, yes, you're right in that everybody needs to learn as much as they can, but there's always kind of this this kind of disparity or this battle between how much should I learn before I teach. And so you see people go up and they get master's degrees, doctorate degrees, postdoctorate degrees. And at that point, it's too late. They've done nothing but hoarding information for themselves, and they haven't done an adequate job of either creating new content or sharing their knowledge with others in a way that like actually encourages the kind of the flow of knowledge in this way, shape, or form. That's kind of where I was with the podcast. Like I was honestly a spur of the moment thing to decide it, but I had been down this rabbit hole. I had been helping people in the community for like 2-3 years on Telegram already. Like I had known so much. I had done all the rabbit holes. I had done all the checking, and I wasn't actually sharing anything. I was just like, more content for me. I want to listen to more Torts podcasts. Like I want to see more tutorials, and I wasn't contributing anything. The least you guys can do is as you learn, share. And then as you learn a lot, create. And we need more content creators. And you guys are in this ecosystem so early. This will reach millions and millions of people. And we've got thousands of users right now. So if you're in, get involved. We are interesting. There is so much more that's being built. We have a surplus of development, and we're behind on content creators. So get involved.
And I'll throw the line out there. You baited the hook. I'll cast the reel. If there's anybody out there that's a video production, if you're in a graphic design, if you're a copywriter, whatever that looks like, send us a message. And if you can't get it to me, get it to Eric. He'll get it to me. We're always looking for talented people. And as Eric said, there's a lot of talented people in this space. We need a lot more. Let's get as many as we possibly can. Again, growth, folks. That's what we're trying to do here. And I guarantee you, if you get in this space for 10 minutes, you're going to want to learn more. And I love the point you made about you know, people think they have to learn so much, and then they're sort of sitting on that info and not teaching anyone else. I said to Jay very early on, I love a plan. I love detailing things. I've got a hard drive full of spreadsheets to prove it, kids. I plan things to death, but I do believe you can overplan. I believe you can talk too much. I believe you can meet too much. And I believe at some point, let's roll our sleeves up and get busy. What are we doing? Let's go. You know what I mean? Like who's going to make dinner? Make the dinner. Quit talking about having dinner. Go make it. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I am with some things. So I'm like, let's just get working. Let's get cracking right now, man. That's the Southern coming out.
No,
I'm
need
sure.
more bureaucracy, Tom. More bureaucracy.
Oh man, don't get me started.
So Nell, Leanson, Jay, and Daniel, please DM me on Telegram. I'm at Secret Code Podcast. Hit us up on Twitter. It's difficult to connect on YouTube, but we do have swag bags for all of you guys. Thanks for tuning in and getting involved. Daniel, thank you for the love note for Tom. He really did need it. And words of affirmation is really his only love language.
Yes.
And then, Tom, how can people get involved with you? Say they are content creators, they're interested in social media management, and they want to help you out because we know that you need help with how as much as we need to scale stuff up. How can they reach you?
You can always use any of our social media accounts. As I said, we're on Twitter, we're on not Facebook, excuse me. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn. And I am the man behind the curtain, as they say, the great and powerful Oz. Jay would probably argue that. Jay, I love you. You're awesome. Jay's the wind beneath my wings. I've told him this. But yeah, you can, if you send a message to those accounts, I'll be the cat that sees them. If that's not working for you, you can hit me on Twitter, Tom at Secret. Sorry. I'm trying to give you my email address. Oh my God. How about that? Tom at Secret.Foundation. Tom, yeah, that's it. I have to think sometimes where the hell I am. But you get so much in your head, man. Tom Clark Secret on Twitter. You can follow me there and message me wherever you want to, man. It's perfectly fine. Message me here, whatever that looks like. And trust me, as I said before, if I can't help you, I'll give you a good conversation. Then I'll give you the message or the messenger of somebody that can help you. Join our Discord. If anybody wants to get on the ground today, right now, get in Discord. We've got a massive presence. Eric, you know, they've got a massive presence in Discord. Get in there and start asking questions, man. And if someone's not answering, ping me. I'll answer it for you. And let's move forward. I'm looking forward to growing this thing bigger and better than ever before, for sure.
Dude, yeah, you certainly will give a great conversation. You've given us a great conversation here today. All the audience is stoked. Thank you so much for coming on, dude. You must be a hell of a podcaster.
I do what I can.
Gonna check out the wrestling podcast with my buddy. But thanks for coming on. Excited for where you're bringing the growth of Secret Network, man.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate your efforts personally, on a personal level, and I appreciate the conversation. And for everybody here and everybody watching after the fact, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much.